Wow, this VR is something else. What the hell's going on here? I'm good. I'm good. And on that note, we cue the intro.
A place of horrors in the depths of the night. You hear the calling your heart of
Hello, Freaky Frighteners. You got the Brewster here, and today I am joined with my friend Sean Ohlman, Fluent's death streamer, musician, and upcoming filmmaker. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, Brewster. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Always, always. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you making time for it. So, elephant in the room, man. Death streamer. It's still killing up there. It's. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh man. Honestly, it's my first. It was my first segue into horror. I've never done horror, so I was very very excited to do it from the start and to see the response that it's been getting it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Never thought that I'd be playing a vampire.
You crushed
Never
it.
thought that I'd be killing people, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, man, it's been a wild ride. Just from audition to Church of Chills to just sitting back and watching it for myself and just getting the response from family members, friends, or even just people that have seen it. It's cool. It's really cool.
What, if it's your first foray into horror, what made you, what led you to that? Was it a chance thing? Was it wanting to try something different?
So my agent actually got it for me. My agent, Chris Newton, out of Tampa Bay. I brought it to me. I was actually slated to go to my buddy's service, my buddy's Randy's taping service, to go tape another audition that I had, which was playing the romantic lead for a movie down in Nashville. And I was all ready to do that, and then I got what's called a C-mail from Actors Access from my agent saying, "Hey, you got this audition, look on," and it says Death Streamer. And I'm reading about it, and it says vampire, and I'm like, okay, it's a little different than what I'm used to. Let's do it. Like, it's fun. I'm a huge vampire fan. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time is Lost Boys. I mean, yeah, his soundtrack is amazing, and the cast is incredible. Love the wardrobe, hair wardrobe, everything about that movie, man. It's iconic. Kiefer Sutherland was one of the coolest characters I've seen in film. And yeah, so I pretty much, I got that audition and I decided to have fun with it. And I didn't expect to book it. I mean, I had never done anything like that before. I was never getting called in for that. So I'm like, I'm always getting called in to be like the good guy, clean cut guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, which is cool. It's totally cool. But I'd never played anyone creepy before. So I really had fun doing that audition. I don't think I blinked once in that audition, which it happens sometimes. Most of the time, you're just trying not to blink and not overdo it, so you're like not taking the audience out of the story. Like, so they're thinking, you're like, okay, don't blink, don't blink, don't blink. I wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't blink once.
Yeah.
Was drawn in. But the writing was so good that it just kind of let me become the character.
Yeah.
I didn't really have to do anything, man. Like, honestly, I tell you, like, I didn't prep it. I didn't do anything. I just did it. Did the audition and was like some of the most fun I've ever had in an audition. I don't get to be scary, so the fact that I did that and like watched it back, and my buddy's like, "Dude, you're gonna book this." I'm like, maybe, maybe. I mean, it'd be cool. This looks like a great movie. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have liked it. I actually just introduced a couple friends to it. Actually, surprisingly enough, they were extras in another full moon movie. Was it Joe? Or no, I'm sorry. Barbie and Kendra crashed Joe Bob's Drive-In,
Oh, okay.
and you see them in the background in early scenes. They had a little watch party, and then
Oh, nice.
the next weekend, actually, I met you up at the Church of Chills, and
Oh, cool, dude.
so I got them to check it out, and they're fans of it because it's the full moon, as you know, full moon's pulp noir is different than your usual full moon stuff. It's a little more serious than Evil Bong or Ginger Dead Man, which I love. I got the Evil Bong box set. And I'm not even a pot smoker, but it's a little more, I guess you would say, serious, or you know what I mean. So I've been turning a lot of people on to it. It's been a great movie.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't even know. Kick myself for this. I'll probably get heat from actors for not checking that.
We can just cut it out.
I didn't know that Charles did it, and even then, like I said, like this is my first horror audition period, and like on top of that, like I like horror movies. I like more serious, grounded horror movies. But I love campy horror movies as well.
Yeah.
I had no idea who Charles was until I got the job offer, and the producer sent me like, okay, this is who you're working for. This is everything. And I'm like, get the heck out of here. Get the heck out of here. I know who that, I love his movies. I'm like, this does not seem campy though. Like the way that, like, I read it to book it and even just the way I read it, like I read the script, I'm like, this is not campy. Like what is going on? Is it going to somehow be campy? But, yeah, I mean, even then, like, I'm on set. When I get to set, we start working on it. I mean, dude, like, it just was not reminding me of anything that Charles had done in the past that I had seen. And, I was excited about that. I was really excited about that. So, yeah, Pulp Noir. He gave us an entire rundown about his whole new pulp noir idea and all the films that he was going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of made sense to me. It was like, okay, you're doing something different. You want to do something different. I respect that. So it's cool to be able to, I think this is his second.
Mm-hmm.
Death Streamer is the second pulp noir film. Next, right after Quadrant. So it's cool to be able to be a part of that. Very grateful that he gave me the opportunity to do it.
Can we expect to see more of you in the horror genre since you've gotten your taste for it now?
Oh man, I guess that all depends, man. Kind of at the point where it's auditioning, not just getting offers. If someone wanted to hire me, hey, I'm right here. I'm based out of Chicago. As long as you could like put me up, I'll go wherever, man.
I'll put the word out for you.
Right. So I'd love the opportunity, man. I'd love the opportunity to play a vampire again too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be a challenge in the horror industry if you were to take another role on? What would be a preferred challenge you'd like to do? Like, would you like to play a werewolf next time, or would you like to play a zombie or a victim? What would you like to do?
Ooh. Let's see. Love the opportunity. I would love the opportunity to be a werewolf. I'm so used to just having my face and using my face. They don't put prosthetics or anything on my face really in any job that I've ever had. I've worn facial hair. I was on Manhunt on Apple TV. So I had a wig, facial hair, and all of that, but never really anything that changed my look. It changed my actual face shape. So to be able to do something like that, I feel like would be a nice challenge.
Right.
And also just, I don't know. I'm a pretty chill dude, so playing like intense, violent things is a challenge in itself. Just because I just not how I respond to things. So
Yeah, I'm glancing over your filmography here, and it doesn't look like it's backing up what you're saying though, because I've seen a lot of what do we got here? Cold Like War, Killing to Live, etc. So you got range there.
thank you, sir. I appreciate that. But yeah, love to play a vampire again. Really would love to play a vampire again. I love Arturo, but I mean, I think I'd love to play someone a little bit more elegant in a sense. You know, like Tom Cruise's Lestat and Anne Rice's Interview with Vampire. Like
Classic.
something classical, something period. I'm a huge history nerd, so to be able to incorporate that with horror, that's right up my alley. Or even just, I don't know, like a very feral, wild, crazy type of creature or man, like that's fun too.
Yeah.
It's all challenging. I mean, horror movies always gave me the creeps growing up, and I mean, like even now, like I have to remind myself, like I'm in this business, like I know how it's done, and I'm still like watching it. I'm like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. This is freaking me out, and yeah, I think that's a challenge in and of itself. Is reading something very disturbing and getting onto set and seeing all the gore that they're going to be using with the special effects or everything, like that was a challenge for me.
Yeah.
All the blood.
Wait, it's full moon, so there's buckets of blood-soaked boobs everywhere.
Exactly, but like, so the boobs were a challenge. The blood was a huge challenge because like it's just type of stuff kind of gives me the creeps. So I'm soaked in it, and then having to have it in my mouth and stuff, and I'm like, dude, you're really challenging me as an actor right now. I hate to admit it, but it's a challenge.
No, you got to keep getting challenged, brother. That's how you get better.
Exactly, that's how you grow. And yeah, so I love it. So any opportunity to play a werewolf, a vampire, a ghost, I don't know. I can't think of anything else terrifying offhand, but I'd love to do that. I'd love to do it again.
All right.
Absolutely.
Quick segue. Since you told me your favorite vampire movie, or one of them anyways, The Lost Boys, favorite werewolf movie, just out of curiosity.
Ooh. Honestly, probably Wolfman with Benicio del Toro.
Is that I never, believe it or not, I really never saw that one.
Well, it's got Anthony Hopkins in it, and really, like, you can't do wrong having that guy.
That's true.
It's creepy. But Benicio is just, he's so intense with already. So to add that just the monster beast-like intensity on top of that, just it makes it. He did a fantastic job. I'm struggling with words right now, but he did a fantastic job. I highly recommend you watching it, or anyone else who's never seen it before, check it out.
I'll check that one out.
He killed it. Anthony Hopkins always kills it, and I mean, it's shot in England, and it's just perfectly gothic. The feel, the atmosphere, all of it is just. It's raw. I like that movie a lot. And there's plenty of gore too. I'm not big on gore. The creepy and like gothic and historic feel for it, that's really what drew me in. But I mean, it's got something for everyone who loves horror. So
gothic horror, are you more of a Crimson Peak type gothic horror type?
Oh, dude, I love that movie. I haven't seen Nosferatu yet. I'm very excited to see that. Obviously, I've seen the spoilers of like how they changed Orlok's look. I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of it because I'm like I said, I'm a history buff, and like the fact that Eggers like he researched, he's like looking like what did an Eastern European nobleman in the Middle Ages look like? And just to have the mustache. I mean, Vlad Vlad Tepes had the mustache, like and Orlok is essentially is just Dracula. So I mean, I think he did a great job. I think having that look is completely different. The aesthetic's completely different, obviously, than the original and the remake, and it's a bold choice to make.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see it. I'm really excited to see it.
I dug the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I did. I don't want to go into spoilers here because I don't want to be responsible for it. But I can.
Yeah.
I can send you something later, or after we're done. If you got a minute, I can tell you my thoughts on it since you know the spoilers.
I'm excited, man.
But based on what you told me, it's definitely right up your alley.
Oh yeah, no. So really, gothic horror things huge, huge for me. So anything dark, I'm about that.
I got some recommendations for you, my friend. What going back to your role there in the blood and the stuff, the freak show? What did you? So you talked about how the audition you just went for it and you crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
What about getting into character for this thing, or did you have the same thing where you just kind of did it?
It's, I read the script
Yeah.
and I'm able to just get into it from that. So with reading the script, I felt who the character was.
Mm-hmm.
Charles was great. I mean, he sat me down before our first day of shooting. He flew me in the day before. We all stayed in the mansion where we filmed like the bar scene and the party scene in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We slept in that mansion. So
And okay.
Beautiful, creepy house in Cleveland Heights. Beautiful neighborhood, by the way. Can't say enough good things about Cleveland. Cleveland's a dope city. Love Cleveland. Cleveland rocks.
The winters aren't the greatest, but it's not too bad out here.
But no, like I mean, it gets a bad rep, but like it's actually I enjoyed being there, and I would love the opportunity to go back. I enjoyed it very thoroughly, but he sat me down and he said, "You know what you brought to your audition? I don't want you to change anything."
Nice.
So we were initially going to keep the glasses on you the entire time, and then also put like monster prosthetics to your face.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got it all right there with your face. Just bring that. And I just was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna bring what I brought to the audition, which was like just a laser-like predatorial focus. I didn't look at him like a human. I didn't look at him in that means at all. I looked at him more like an animal.
Mm-hmm.
And just like an animal that's in control.
Yeah.
And that's what I brought. So it was really, it was easy. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or say that like I did a great job.
No, you're good.
It was easy to do. He trusted me. He let me do it, and yeah, that was it. I just did it.
You did an awesome job there. And I'm not just saying that because I'm talking on the phone with you or the video chat here with you. You crushed it.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. But it was fun. It was fun being able to just like dial in on the dark side.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent in believing that like it's not about finding the character, like in becoming the character. It's about finding the character within you.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of that character in me. He's intellectual. He has a bit of an ego. I mean, I don't love it, but like I've got a bit of an ego to an extent. I think every artist does, and every man does, every person does. So I mean, that's relatable. But his intensity is just, this is like animal-like.
Yeah.
And to be able to like dial into that was therapeutic, because it was like you get to be violent and get to be scary and intense without all of the shit that happens, like if you did it in real life.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to like let go and do that, and it's a very cathartic feeling.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, like that was rough, that was crazy, like, but yeah, it was just a cool opportunity to be able to let myself go and to bring a really scary character to life. So
would you say that using that, what you just said, you know, letting that go without the repercussions, essentially, was that kind of like maybe a release from like just some like stress, that the daily stress that we all get, is just being able to get out there and just you know, fang it out, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's so much stress just living nowadays.
Don't get me
also,
started.
An the actor's life is, it's rejection. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, how many times am I going to go through this and not book it or not hear anything or whatever, and then you finally get that chance. It's like it's letting go of every bit of frustration you have, and it's a release. It's a therapeutic release, and it was awesome. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I mean, my co-stars killed it. They were just so much fun to work with, every single one of them.
Oh yeah, you guys were all really cool. I mean, I still geek out with Travis every so often. I mean, you guys are just so down to earth, and it's like, honestly, like, it's not a line saying, "Well, go thanks for." No, see, I do appreciate you agreeing to come on here and, you know, shooting it with me on Instagram with the heavy metal stuff. So it's just, you're very down to earth. I don't think you have an ego there, man, if you're shooting it with me here, you know.
Yeah, person, we're all people. I mean, I don't really believe that anyone's better or worse. We're all equals, and why wouldn't you talk to somebody else? You're a person.
Probably a topic for another interview, right?
Yeah, right? Seriously, I won't get into that.
So, all right. So, Full Moon's Death Streamers, I think it's still streaming on Tubi, as well as the Pulp Noir version. I haven't checked that one out yet.
Me neither. I'm excited.
But on to your next endeavor, which you just told me about prior to this call. You're working on your first feature film.
Yeah. So it's entitled The Forgotten. It is it's a psychological thriller that takes place during the Viking Age. Huge nerd when it involves Vikings. Just have always been super intrigued by them. It's a huge part of my ancestry, being Swedish and Danish.
Mm-hmm.
But more than that, I just think they were badasses. I mean, they were willing to go to the ends of the earth when no one knew what the heck was going on with it. I mean, it's just a level of like bravery and ballsiness just to do that. Super intriguing. And with the ferocity that they fought, and just how strongly spiritual these people were. They were so deeply rooted in their spiritual beliefs. There's just a lot to not really admire, I'd say, but like a lot to just like respect about it, to pay respect to it. Yeah, I mean, yes, they were killing people. They're doing horrendous things, but that happened throughout all history. But anyways, it's something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm excited to tell a story about it. It's to tell you a little bit about the synopsis without giving away too much. It's about two brothers, Eric and Einar, who set out for a voyage for immortality, and along the way become lost and thus forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about Vikings, they didn't have a written language. Everything was told through story, and through fame. That's how they achieved fame, was through songs and their stories being told. Going to Valhalla, the ultimate goal. So yeah, it's something I'm super excited and passionate about, and excited for everyone to see it. I'm still in pre-production right now, working on the script more, making it better, and just dialing in more on what I want to do with it. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk more about it when more developments happen.
So it is happening though.
It is happening, yes.
And maybe
I do not know when, but I will make it happen when I will not make it happen. It will happen when it's supposed to happen.
que sera, sera, right?
Exactly.
Well, you know, if you want, when that's getting near, if you want to hit me up and we'll come back here and we can talk about it, man, you're more than welcome. You're always welcome.
Oh, I'd love to, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now next, aside from your filmmaker, you're also a musician.
Yes.
And your first single's coming up?
Yeah, it's my first single as a solo artist. It's entitled Hopelessly Searching. I'll be everywhere that you can find music, February 14th. It is, it's been a crazy journey. Wrote this song about a year and a half ago, recorded it first about a year and a half ago, and went through an entire journey of trying to find a sound that really worked for me. So I wrote a bunch of other songs that I tracked and always came back to this one. I went through a divorce not too long ago. I think it's coming out 4 years right now, and uprooted my entire family across country. Just completely changed my life around, my kids' life around, my ex's life around, and yeah, it's just something that I wasn't really talking about. I never really talked publicly about it. It's just was something that was really near and dear to me, and I don't know. I didn't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it's not that like I was in denial that it was happening or anything like that. It's just that I didn't want to talk to people about it. It was something that, unless you were like very much involved in it or around, very much involved in my life at the time, which is like close family members or close friends, like you just weren't privy to it. I just didn't want to talk about it. But yeah, this gave me the opportunity to finally like release everything from the initial breakup to everything that happened after that, and the life change of going from being married to set for 6 years and having 2 kids to being a single dad and living back in Illinois, living with my parents, going through that like in my 30s, and just it wasn't a fun time. And it's something that, you know, more than half the population goes through a divorce, which is, it sucks. I can say I did not enjoy it, and I did not go through a bad divorce, so to speak. Like, there are people who go through horrible divorces. Very amicable with me and my ex. We see each other regularly, very much in my kids' lives. So yeah, I mean, we have to be, and it's been a great journey. I have no hard feelings towards my ex or anything like that. She's a great mother, and we work very well together without being together.
Yeah.
So, but still, I mean, there's pain. There's pain involved in that, because you're thinking, you know, this is what my life's going to be like, and it's not like it. It turns out differently.
Yeah.
And so the song is just about holding on to things that no longer suit you in life, that are no longer yours. How often do we learn lessons in life that are hard? They're like, oh man, like, I don't want to go through this next chapter. I don't want to do it. And you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. So yeah, I'm excited for people to hear it. It's different than anything I've ever made. Do we learn lessons in life that are hard? They're like, oh man, like, I don't want to go through this next chapter. I don't want to do it. And you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. So yeah, I'm excited for people to hear it. It's different than anything I've ever made. It's not metal. It's not heavy at all.
I'll still give it a shot for you.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, it's something that I've put
It sounds like it was very personal and therapeutic for you as well.
Oh, insanely therapeutic, insanely personal, and yeah, something that I don't typically do. I don't like to get personal.
Yeah.
It's just not really my vibe. But I decided to on this, so it's a little vulnerable. It's a little like a little apprehensive about putting it out there, but you know, I'm sure at least one other person can relate to it. So cool. This is for you.
I will definitely check it
Whoever
out.
that is. Yeah.
No, that's cool because I mean, breaking character, whatever. It's good to sometimes, get that stuff out of there because you seem to the same kind of thing with I am. Just kind of push it down. You just deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So occasionally to kind of let that stuff out, in whether it be in the song you just described or with dark humor, it is good to kind of get it out there. You know what I mean?
It is. I mean, you don't want to hold on to things. You want to be able to let go of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's hurting you. You just don't need to do it. And I needed to let it out, and I did. And I'm grateful that I did. And now the next step is just being vulnerable and putting it out there and seeing the response. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm excited to see it no matter what. And whether the response is terrible or the response is great, I'm still put it out there. I still would put it out there.
Good.
If I could go back and do it. So, yeah.
Well, essentially, you should do stuff like that for yourself, especially if it's creating an outlet for you to, for therapeutic reasons, to relieve some stress, relieve some inner stuff you just feel you need to get out. Otherwise, you can't move on, whatever the reason is. So I do seriously give you props for that, and
Thanks, man.
can sympathize with you that, but not on camera.
No need for that. We don't need to see that.
No.
You're good. You're good.
Well, see, doctor, it started. I'm kidding. So, all right, shifting
Tell me
gears.
about your problem.
I know you're on a couch too. You got this. All right, shifting gears to the other end of the spectrum. You're a heavy metal junkie.
Oh yeah, love heavy metal.
All right, I've been waiting for this one since you started talking about the Forgotten. You like Iced Earth? You like Vikings? Have you heard the song "The Great Heathen Army" off of Incorruptible?
Oh my gosh. No, but I love the history and the story of the Great Heathen Army. Are you kidding me?
I'm sending it to you right now,
Okay.
so I don't forget because it's the opening track off their last album, and it's a banger for sure.
Okay. Yes. Awesome, man. I thought you were going to start talking about Amon Amarth, and I'm like, oh yeah.
I like them too. I've seen them a couple times.
Yeah? Heck yeah.
Back in the
That
day,
was
though.
fun.
Let's see here. I'm going to send that to you. Because I was good, and I held off on the Iced Earth talk to not blow up your Instagram, but you're screwed right now. You're on camera, so now I get to ask you about it.
All right.
So I actually am encouraged to do this because you did mention being a history buff, and you did obviously the horror movies and stuff. And they've got two concept albums. They're separate albums, of course. One is The Glorious Burden, which had Tim Ripper Owens from Judas Priest on vocals. And every song on there is actually historically themed.
Oh,
Like every single song on there has a historical theme behind the song. There's a song about Attila, the Red Baron, drawing a blank right now, the Declaration of Independence. And then at the end, there's a 3-song trilogy, 3 songs that kind of go into the next one. It's 30 minutes long total. It's about the Battle of Gettysburg.
oh dang. Okay.
So-
I gotta dive more into Iced Earth then, man, because this is awesome. I mean, I love Iron Maiden, which is very,
Of course.
you know.
I'm 42 years old. Of course I know.
You know. You gotta know.
Dude, I'm sporting the Megadeth first album on my arm.
Ooh. Killing is my business, and business is good.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
I'm still anticipating their next album. Dave Mustaine was the man's a genius. I mean, he's another one. He just despite his constant going back and forth with the slamming certain bands or whatever, but he you got to admire the guy because he built his own stuff from the ground up.
It's true. It's so true. And I mean, to go from just having a lot of momentum going with Metallica at the time, and then just you're gone. Like waking up and you have to be gone. Like that's crazy, and just the tenacity that he has, just that he just hasn't stopped, man. I mean, Megadeth's been a band for what, 40 years almost now?
Early 80s for sure, because he was part of the Big Four.
Yeah, so I think 84, 85. But I mean, still like 40 years of being in that band, and all the albums he came out with, and just he just didn't stop.
Yeah.
And you gotta admire that, man. The tenacity is just the blue collared American work ethic, man. I'm all about that.
Well, when I saw them in 2000, wasn't my first time. It was after he was on his hiatus, and he came back with Blackmail the Universe tour in honor of the System is, or in support of The System Has Failed, and he had just hired musicians, or at the time hired musicians, because he hadn't announced that he was staying or not. And I was watching them, and James McDonough from Iced Earth was actually on bass, and I was real close. I was up front, and he was saying something to James, like telling him to play slower or lower or something like that. But it was just that one of those things that just showed that's his, you know what I mean? Like he's back on the scene, and he's got it under control. You know, I mean, he really has something to be proud of. So I get why he might have issues not letting go of certain things, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you created Megadeth.
Seriously,
you know?
Seriously. How many people will argue that Megadeth is better than Metallica, or is the best of the original four? Like, I mean, like, oh, God. For me, it all comes to killing is Holy Wars. Holy Wars, man. Like, that song is perfect from a metal standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot beat that song.
Yeah.
I challenge you to find a better thrash metal song.
Yeah.
I challenge you to. You might be able to think you do, but there's no way. It's never going to be better. That is such a good song. The first time I ever heard it, man, I was, I think, 11 or 12 years old when I heard it on my Walkman, and dude, it blew my freaking mind. And took me on a journey too. Like, oh God, I love that song. Sorry, I'm feeling a lot talking about that.
Dude, no, go ahead, man.
Yeah, like Dave probably can't hear us. You might not. Maybe you will. Be happy with yourself, man. You killed it. You've been killing it. You kicked ass. You overcame that BS. You could have just given up and been like, you know what? This was my chance to make it, and I failed. Now I gotta go do whatever else. You started Megadeth, and that, dude, that's no easy task.
Amen, brother. He wanted, for Dave, he wanted blood, and he created Megadeth. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm a neutral fan. I got the Metallica chest hat.
Oh, I love Metallica too, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Megadeth's verses, like their main verse riffs, are more complicated than Metallica's solos sometimes. You know what I mean?
Seriously, no, they're not easy to play.
And he sings while he's doing it.
It's just insane, which is absolutely insane. His spiral chords, I have no idea how he could even do that. And then sing on top of that, man, jeez. Just playing power chords.
Yeah.
And singing is no easy task necessarily if you're keeping rhythm. I mean, it's that there's a lot of praise that has to go out to that guy. I mean, he gets a hard time from a lot of people. He's bitter about stuff. I mean, who gives a crap? I mean, he's just a dude. Let him be a dude.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing. But he's killing it. He's a freaking force of nature.
Oh, he's a beast.
He's an absolute beast. So, this one's to you, Dave.
I'll cheers to you that one, buddy. What other metal bands we've talked about my top three, Metallica, Megadeth, and Iced Earth. What other ones does Sean enjoy? Pantera, I remember seeing your Instagram story.
Love Pantera, man. Oh God. You know, I grew up in the Vans Warped Tour era of metal and metalcore, deathcore, grindcore, all of that. So, man, I'll list like ones that probably are the most influential in my life. Whitechapel, as far as like deathcore goes, Phil Bozeman is like the ultimate vocalist. He's insanely good. But I love his Blood Runs Black. They had this album come out called Allegiance back in 2007. And that's still one of the best deathcore albums, metal albums, period. Just the riffs, the drums. Dude, just playing bass. He's playing the riffs like with his fingers, like tremolo picking with his fingers. It's like, what is going on? What am I actually hearing? That's insane. Like, that's a big fan of the cores. As far as like, dude, that's kind of tough, man. I listen to metal pretty much every time I go to the gym. Trivium has been on my
Nice.
on my repeat. Ascendancy is by far, in my opinion, their best album.
Yeah.
I will always go back to that album. Every single song on that album, in my opinion, is perfect. Especially The Deceived. It's my favorite song on that album. So good. That opening riff, just the aggression that he plays. Oh man, it's money. Shoot, I'll probably get heat for it. As I Lay Dying. I mean, whatever with Tim, like, don't support any of that stuff, but like, I mean, from the musician standpoint, like, love that band.
What stuff? I'm not familiar with. What's going on?
I'm probably not like. He just some pretty messed up stuff. I mean,
Fair enough.
Yeah, I won't get into it. It's not my it's not my news to share.
Gotcha.
Google it. Anyone who's interested could Google it. But honestly, that band has so many songs that changed my life. Shadows of Security was a groundbreaking album. I just keep going back to like 2005, 2000 through 2007.
Yeah.
That was like one of my favorite eras in music were those 3 years. Dang, man. But if we want to go like with like some old school metal, like I was saying, Iron Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
Love Iron Maiden. Just the showmanship as an actor. I mean, how can you not like Iron Maiden?
Okay, yeah.
His voice is just insane. Their show, their live performance is essentially a play.
Yeah.
And with all of the stage deck and everything, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, Fear of the Dark. Fear of the Dark's probably my favorite song by Iron Maiden.
Oh, there's 2000.
And it's the live version from Rio,
Rock in Rio.
That's the one I like.
I got that CD. There's a tribute album. I can't remember what it's called, but Metallica was on there, as was Trivium.
Ooh.
And there was an awesome cover of Fear of the Dark. I don't know who sang it. It was just one of those one-off bands. I mean, I can dude, I got all this stuff. I could send you links if you want.
Send them, man. Send them. Was it more of like a death metal version of it?
No, it wasn't. That's the thing. It was. I'm going to hold off and check it up because that did me read Dead Silence, but I will send them to you. But I know that Machine Head covered Hallowed Be Thy Name, and it was insane.
That was a dope cover.
It was insane, and I'll send you a link to all that stuff off of, once we sign off.
Metal covers, Black Dahlia Murder, Painted Black. The Agony Scene, I believe, did a cover of that song too. The Rolling Stones song.
Yeah, I know the song. Yeah.
Dude, it turned it into a death metal version. Like, man, so good, so heavy, so good. I mean, the key of the song, it's just perfect for it. Like, it was. I mean, shoot, that song like in the early '60s was heavy.
Mm. It was very, and actually reminds me of, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Dimmu Borgir, is that how you pronounce it? Do you know the band?
Dimmu Borgir?
Yeah.
I think it's Dimmu Borgir. I can't remember. I don't know. Someone else probably knows.
We'll get corrected in the comments.
Talk about being metalheads.
Well, they covered Twisted Sister's Burn in Hell back in the day, and I loved it.
Yeah?
I loved it.
You've made it super heavy.
Oh, yeah. Again, I'm putting this on the list of stuff I'm going to blow up your inbox with.
Dude, go for it, man. I mean, I also like hair metal. Like, I mean, I know that, like the thrash metal fan in me is like, how can you say that? Like, the whole reason, like, that genre of music exists is because of hair metal, like, hatred of hair metal. But, I mean, how can you not like Motley Crue, man?
Well, you just mentioned...
How can you not like Kickstart My Heart? It's like one of the best.
Well, Shout of the Devil, man. Livewire.
Yes.
You just mentioned...
Kickstart My Heart. Like, just that intro and just the excitement that it creates, man. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it doesn't matter what's going on. I hear that. I'm like, all right, man. I feel like I just did a whole bunch of cocaine. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm not saying I do that. I'm saying that every time I hear that song, I feel like my heart just got kickstarted with a bunch of cocaine.
You're good. I mean, I kind of assumed the hair metal thing when you said you enjoyed the Lost Boys soundtrack, so I knew that was coming. I'm with you 100%.
Yes, have to.
You know, there's a lot of underrated 80s horror soundtracks there that I have in my playlist. Honestly, I think Fright Night has a great underrated 80s soundtrack as well.
Dude, the soundtrack that we have in Death Streamer, like the last scene, that like ending scene where I come in.
Yeah.
That song's a banger. That sounds like an 80s soundtrack, an 80s horror soundtrack, man.
Death Streamer had that 80s vibe to me for some reason. I don't know what it was. Okay, so it's not just me.
Yeah, it did have an 80s vibe to it. I felt that too, man.
Okay, cool.
Especially when I was watching it. I'm just like, I don't know why this feels like the 80s, but it does. And then I'm listening to music at the end. I'm like, okay, I love this. This is a banger.
Yeah, soundtracks, man. 80s soundtracks. There's a lot of underrated gems you can get through suggestion stuff. I found a lot over the years from like Maniac Cop and Return of the Living Dead and just all these forgotten things from when I was younger, because Lost Boys and I think Friday the 13th Part 8 had a good 80s soundtrack with Darkest Side of the Night. But they get overshadowed by, like there's one from back in the day called Black Roses, and I love the soundtrack for that one. And it's a low budget thing, huh?
No, I've never heard of it. I'm curious because the soundtrack, and now I want to see it.
I'm writing it down, dude. I'm literally writing down a list of stuff that we're talking about.
Send all this to me.
Seriously, once we end the call, mute me for like a half an hour and then come back to it, because I got a bunch of stuff to send you.
Awesome.
So I'm going to send you all that. But I'm going to have to. I think I'll be kind here and let you go. Otherwise, we will be here for the rest of the night geeking out about metal and 80s. So I know you got stuff to do, and I don't want to keep you too long.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
I appreciate you stopping by here, and dude, it's great chatting with you. I learned a lot about this. It's been very interesting.
Yeah, man, it's been nice talking to you too, Brewster. Call me back whenever, man. I'm happy to be on.
Fair enough. So we will, once we get the Viking come out, we find something else, I will bring you on here again, and you can keep us updated on what you're doing.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll get something. Maybe I'll get a horror thing before then.
You know where to come if you get that one.
Maybe it'll combine horror with metal, and we could just have it all be about horror and metal. We'll just have a great conversation.
You're speaking my language here, brother. All right, so I'm going to sign off on this here, but don't hang up just yet. I want to ask you something afterwards.
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you all for listening. That was Sean Ohlman of Death Streamer. Just Sean Ohlman for the band, right? Just look up that.
Sean Ohlman. Just follow me on Instagram. The Sean Ohlman.
Jack of all trades.
Keep in contact. Feel free to talk to me if you think this was interesting and you have similar interests or whatever. I'm an open book, happy to talk to whoever. So,
Sean's a dude. Thanks again for coming, buddy, and we'll talk with you soon.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Well, how about that? Brewsteria episode 3. It's 2 of them in the new year, so far so good. I thank everyone for watching. Sean for coming out. I had a lot of fun with that, and hopefully we can bring him back again, or he'll have time for us to come back for us again. I know there's still sound issues. I'm working on it. It's 3 episodes in, man. I'm making this up as I go. No Dudester Mr. Beans today. Dudester's out being an asshole to somebody else, and Mr. Beans just ate, so he's crashed out on the couch. But I thank you all for watching again and staying tuned. And on that note, we cue the music.